Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which is always exciting because we do meal prepping on a Friday evening. And I just want to say that I'm hoping that today we actually do lots of fun things. We're going to start off, let me just get my little list here. We're going to start off in terms of meal prepping, of making some barbecue peach and chicken. It's like a casserole, and then uh, uh, I'm also going to make an orange and banana frozen dessert and a smoothie. And then we're going to try dehydrating some chicken. Now, the question is, why would you? And the reason that we're talking about that this week is we are looking to find different ways to store food. And one of the best ways to store food for a long time is to have it dehydrated. So I thought we would start talking about that. The reason why doing it dehydrated works well is it takes up so little space. And the chances are some of you are happy campers and you're going to be going camping uh, once the spring comes, if you happen to be in the northern hemisphere. For those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, you are already in summer and about to go into fall. So maybe you're going to do some late fall camping or some early fall camping even. So what I wanted to do is just show you why it's so useful to do, and also that we start to learn how to do it. First of all, I just wanted to thank you all for being here. For those of you who don't know, Dear Mama Sal is a group of people. We get together 3 times a week and talk about coping with our lives. And one of the segments we do is about meal prepping, and we do that on a Friday evening. But I wanted to thank you all because because of the fact we've been doing this. Do you realize that I no longer need to cook during the week? I mean, seriously, think about cooking during the week because I now have enough stuff sitting in the freezer that I just go, do I want beef? Do I want chicken? Do I want pork? Do I want fish? Because whatever it is I want, it's already prepared in the freezer. So I cannot tell you how much stress that takes off my mind. Not only that, I know whatever's in the freezer is in 1 cup portions. So I just have to heat up a portion and I'm done. Maybe I add a couple of bits to it and we'll talk about that. But, quite honestly, I can just put it into thaw, and by the time it's warmed up, I have a complete meal with lots of vegetables, and I know it's a healthy portion. Well, healthy being questionable, but but it is a 1 cup portion. I'm not going to go back for seconds because there just isn't anything left. It's one portion. So what we're going to do, first of all, I thought I'd show you what I've been cooking up between the two broadcasts. And this is just um, some onion with some bacon in it. How many of you are going, well, that's a good start, so. Now, it's just very quietly been simmering all afternoon. So my house smells wonderful because it smells of onion and bacon. So this is going to be the base to the casserole in a little while. But I just want to tell you, I did it during the afternoon because I knew it would take too long to do it nicely if we did try to do it during the broadcast. So that's already done. And I've got a couple of peaches here for decoration. That'll be for a little bit later. And then we have got the vegetables that we're going to use today. And what we've got here, I got something underneath here. What have we got underneath? Oh, carrot and corn here. We've got cabbage and celery here. This is all zucchini. And this is, oh yeah, leeks, peppers, and tomatoes. So what do you think? allowing for the fact we've also got onion, pretty healthy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put all this in together and just nuke it and let it cook quickly. Yeah, why not? Uh-oh. Okay, and I'm just going to put plate over it. Just going to put it in for 3 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty. It's Eat the Rainbow. You would know that. I want to tell you, because I've been doing this Eat the Rainbow preparation, and you understand what all that is vegetables that I've had during the week that I have, they need to get cooked or thrown away. And so to me, what I do on Friday nights is my leftover stuff. So that's all vegetables I've got left over, either that, are older than I would like or whatever. But I'm using them up, and it's going to make one heck of a meal. I don't know if there are any meals that we made that you'd like to know. How did it taste in reality? I took one out. Oh, yeah. Remember that apple cider one that we did? Oh, I pulled one of those blocks out this week, and I want to tell you, I am so glad we did that. Also, what I've got here, and I want to give credit to Jeannie. Some time ago, Jeannie sent me some, I'm not getting paid by these people, some maniac, notice how they spell it, because she's from Maine, some maniac barbecue sauce. And I thought, I really would like to use some up. So what I've got here is some peaches that I have got actually soaking in them. Oh, it smells so good. And to be fair, I did put a little bit of that spiced apple cider in there as well, because I thought it'd be a good place to put it. I'm trying to use it up. All right. Now, I'm also this evening going to make myself, this is, if you haven't got one of these bowls, I really recommend it. Thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie's saying the vegetables, old or not, look marvelous. And you know something? They will even taste better. By the way, for those of you who don't know, as you watch me cook, you're not going to see me put garlic in. There's a reason for that. I happen to be intolerant of garlic, but feel free to huck in as much garlic as you want to. Yes, Jeannie, I thought to myself, well, I better just get it out and start using it up a bit. So I've used about half of it. Because it smells so good. So what I'm going to make tonight is I'm going to make myself a rice noodle bowl, all right, using whatever we cook up, over and above what we're going to freeze. Yeah, that's fairly warm. That looks good. Now, you will all have your preferences as to how much you like to cook your vegetables before you put it into freeze. So do it whichever way you like it. I might like to make sure that it's pretty well cooked. That's just a personal preference. That way, I know that when I thaw it, I don't have to worry about cooking it again. It just needs to be thawed, all right? So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this on because we're going to cook some chicken. It really helps if you remember the extension cord. I'll be right back. Being perfect isn't my middle name. Okay, there we go. And what I have got is a couple of pieces of chicken. But as usual, we're going to make sure that we know how much is a portion. So let me just get this out. There we go. Get this on here. We'll zero it. I'm going to do it in pounds only because the majority of the viewers are in the States, but I will also do it in milliliters. I mean, on what do you call it? Kilograms. Not milligrams, kilograms. Grams, even. All right, so here we go. So I've got my little doodad here, and that's set at 0. And oops, I have got 2 chicken breasts here that I have been marinating for the last couple of hours in soy sauce and lime. Don't ask me how much, just some of each. For those of you who don't know me, we're not into fine art measuring here. All right, so this together is about just over 12 ounces. And that means that from this, we should get 4 portions. They say that a portion of chicken is 3 to 4 ounces, all right? So what I'd like to do is to get 4 portions out of it, plus some chicken left over to dehydrate as an experiment. So we can do that. I'm going to put that back in the fridge for the time being. But do you understand that is basically a quarter of a chicken breast? No, depends how big the chicken breast is, but basically you're looking at that much meat is a portion. So those of you who are eating a full chicken breast when you have chicken, that is twice as much. Think about that. There we go. Uh-oh. Pretty warm. So I basically nuked that for 6 minutes. All right. And that's still got lots of color in it, looks good. And I think that's cooked enough for it to be able to freeze. I certainly don't like my vegetables too soft. I like them to have a little bit of crunch left in them. So that's what we're going to do. And we also know that our onion and bacon is done. Oops, sorry, people. There we go. So I'm going to put that over the top of it. Maybe I'll just put that in a bowl for now, and we'll add it in a minute. That's good. Like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up, just because I want to make sure that this is cooked. And we've got just over a cup, I've got more than a cup there of barbecue sauce, a little bit of the what do you call it? Apple cider in there. I'm going to add, before I cook it up, some soy sauce and some Leon Perrin's Worcestershire sauce, just to, just take it up a bit more. And probably, I think, what about just a splash of wine in there? I got a feeling that would be a good thing. So we'll start with the wine. So I got some wine that I want to use up, so let me start with it. That's good. So put in about a cup, I would think. It's plenty. And by the way, what I love about wine is, you can keep it in the fridge for the longest time and use it for cooking, and it gives great, great taste. Judy's asking, did I do caramelized onions? Yes, I did. So, but they're not quite fully caramelized at the moment. I just really very slow cook them for probably about 4 hours. I suppose that's also how you do caramelized onions. But I did it with the bacon in it. So the two of them slowly cooked together, because I wanted them to get those tastes mixed up. Mixed up is not the right word, is it? Jody will give me the right word. Okay. So we've got a cup of wine, and I'm going to cook that up to start with, just so that it will let go of some of the alcohol, because that's not why we've got the wine in there. We got the wine in there for the taste. And what we will do is, whilst we're doing that, we'll cook up some of the chicken. So let me just wash my hands. And one chicken breast. And there's another. Now then, in terms of food safety, right, I'm pretty sure you all know, whatever you have marinated chicken in, throw it away once you start cooking, right? Don't use this. Okay. Yeah, that's coming up nicely. just want to bring that to a little bit more heat, and that will be good. So I just wondered, have any of you ever tried dehydrating meat? And particularly, have you tried dehydrating chicken? And if you have, I'd be very interested to hear about it. You haven't tried that yet. Well, my attitude is my freezer is pretty full and I still want to keep cooking. So I'm going, okay, what am I going to do? And I thought, some of this stuff I'm going to just dehydrate. And let us think about this. If we dehydrated chicken, how could we use it? Well, we could reconstitute it in a sauce if we wanted to. If you wanted to, you could just chew on it while you're watching, binge watching something as a snack like jerky. That's really what we're talking about. Or if you wanted to, you could crumble it over your salad. All right, so there are lots of different ways that you can use dehydrated meat. And if you haven't done it, it doesn't have to be covered in lots and lots and lots of salt. They used to cure it a lot in salt, but quite honestly, I would like to suggest that if you make sure it is well and truly dehydrated, you don't need to put a lot of sodium on it. So just think about that. But I do want to warn you, jerky is so expensive, yes, and there's a good reason why, from my experience, because I want to tell you, I have 3 times dehydrated steak. All right, really tasty, with peppercorns on it and all sorts of things. And 3 times it never got near a bag because I just took the little amount that I had and I took it to my couch and watched television, and it was gone. So I do want to warn you, it is something that probably it's a good idea to make a whole lot of it. At one time, rather than just 1 or 2 pieces. I'm pretty sure that whatever I start dehydrating tonight will probably not make it to Monday, or maybe even Sunday. Now, we're dealing with chicken. So the most important thing we can do is to make sure that we've got it properly cooked, all right? So my thermometer thing says, come on, here we go, beef, veal, chicken, all right? And so it's saying that I should take it up to 165 in American, that's Fahrenheit, or up to 74 in Celsius for those of you who are in Canada. No. All right, so we're going to just put this in the fattest one. What do you think? Probably there. And then when it beeps at me, just remind me, all right? Because my mind can be elsewhere trying to do this lot. So we've got this just quietly cooking. And we're going to cook up most of the alcohol anyway. So now I'm going to add in the peaches and barbecue sauce. And I want all that to start bubbling together. And I think I'm going to put the caramelized onions and bacon in with it, right? So that makes the whole of the sauce. I'm going to put in some Montreal steak spice just because I like that when I'm doing this sort of thing. And I don't think it's going to need very much else, quite honestly. So we'll just let that cook a little bit. I might need a little bit more liquid, I'm not sure. We're about halfway to where it needs to be. So we're getting there with the chicken. Hi, Nikita. Good to see you. And to all of you, I'm getting hungry already. What about you guys? So while we're waiting for this to cook and for that to cook, I thought I would show you what I've been doing with, this is the end of the week. This banana is beginning to go a little bit dark. I've got an orange, because I bought oranges in bulk, and this orange is beginning to dehydrate on its own. So what I wanted to show you is how I've been making my little nightly desserts, all right? And all I do is I take whatever fruit I want, and tonight just happens to be this leftover orange. Getting in my way. There we go. And I'm just going to take the rind off it, or most of it anyway. It doesn't have to be all of it, because the fiber is good for us anyway. And also, I'm going to be adding a little bit of lemon juice to it. Because we've got banana and we don't want it to turn a nasty color. So we're going to start off by putting in some lemon juice. And then we're going to put in our banana. And our orange. And now I'm going to put in a little bit of oat milk. No, it's almond milk. I'm not going to put in much because I'm actually going to make the smoothie out of some of this later in a second. So going to make a big noise. Nigel the Ninja is going to turn this into dessert. Okay, what did I do with it, people? There we go. We're getting closer. We're at about 140. All right, so now all I do with this, and I really want you to think about this, a great way to not waste fruit at the end of the week. You know my famous muffin molds. All I'm going to do is to pour this into my muffin mold. I think I can do 3 and still have, oh, that tastes good. I've still got a bit left over because now I want to make a smoothie. But can you see that? Now that's going to go straight into the freezer. And then what I also do, this will crack you up, but I do it at the same time. Is I take some fresh cream. And just put that in. You see that? So I got 3 desserts, 3 cream. Now what I do is when I eat it at night, it tastes like ice cream. And I just, just put it like that. I've also been known to put no sugar, what do you call it? No sugar jam, sugar-free jam in between the two. It's just like, really, I'm loving what can I do as opposed to what can't I do. That smells good. All right, so I just need to get this into the freezer. And here's a trick that I found. These silicone molds bend a lot, as you probably have seen. So before I put it into the freezer, I just put it on my little goodie here, and I freeze it just like that. All right, so then I know it's going to freeze straight. I'll be right back. Now, for any of you who've got children, do you think that they would hate you for making that dessert? I don't think so. By the way, as an adult, I don't hate myself for making it. Every night I go, I'm going to have my ice cream now. So here I've got this. I'm going to add some more of the, almond milk and now some ice. I know, I'm coming to you, just be patient. Well, it's not going to drop anymore. And then there we go. Been looking forward to this. Yeah, Jody, thank you. I know. All right, so we know that the chicken should be done. So we'll turn that over and turn it off. And then we can take this out because it says it's done. Shush now. And what I do is I immediately put the probe into water so that it can get clean. Nice, simple way of doing it. All right, so this is going to be very yummy. Requires a taste test. Boy. Okay, this requires that I check what it's got in there. For that, I need my glasses. All right, I can taste tomato in there, that barbecue sauce. So it's got quite a what do you call it? Bite to it. Does it have what's it got in? Okay, it got tomato paste, yes. Water, tomato paste, cider vinegar, honey, molasses, lemon juice, spices, dried onions, sea salt, mustard bran, gluten-free. All right, so a lot of good stuff in there. I could taste the tomato paste. That's what I'm going. I can taste the tomato. Which in a barbecue sauce is unusual. You normally taste other things, not the first taste you get is the tomato paste. So that was interesting to me. All right. So from your experience, all of you, when you freeze a sauce like this, does it get to be more tangy or less tangy? What is your experience? And by the way, I'm going to use half of it as it is, and then I'm going to add a little bit of curry powder to the other half to make a curry version of it, because I thought that would make some interesting eating as well. So what is your experience when you freeze spicy type sauces? Do you find that freezing it accentuates the the sauce or dulls it down? Because it doesn't really matter whichever it is. Because, for example, if you find that the tastes are intensified and when you go to cook it, it is too strong for you, just get out one of those pucks of frozen cream and drop that in. All right? That's one of the reasons I've started making pucks of cream, because I find it so useful when I am making stuff. By the way, if you decide, well, I really don't feel like having the chicken, barbecue chicken stuff, think about what about just letting it thaw and then just blending it all up and having it as a soup. Or, from my experience as well, blending it all up and using it as a sauce over something else. All right. So to me, cooking it this way, it just allows you to have so many different options. And I was doing something this week and I didn't feel like eating something, but I did feel like sipping on something. And I took one of those cubes of a meal and I just put it into the Nigel the Ninja here, blended it all up, dropped some fresh cream into it, a little bit of garnish on top, and I felt like I had a meal fit for a queen. So there we go. That's cooked. This is about to get cooked. But first, let us go back to our main thing here. All right, and I'm just going to mix this up a little bit. And it's funny, isn't it? Because when we cooked it, that looked like so much liquid. And yet when we put it all in there, it's not as much as I thought. And we're going to be putting our meal into here in a second. But first, we're going to chop up the chicken to go in here. Now, we've still got some juices on there. So I'm going to add that in, because that looks good. Yum. Don't want to waste that at all. So now I'm going to get a fork. Now again, just double check that your chicken is cooked, which that is. And as you can see, it's totally cooked there as well, but it's still juicy. It's actually pretty perfect. Nobody more surprised than I am. Ah. Okay, I really, really recommend marinating chicken in soy sauce and lime. It really gives it such a great taste. I forgot to check roughly what the cost of a couple of sort of smallish chicken breasts would cost. I buy mine by the box. So I'm not 100% sure, but you may want to just check that out so that you know what it's costing you per meal. So I'm just going to cut this up a little bit more. And that I'm going to dehydrate that lot there. Maybe one more for what we're doing here. There we go. So in order that I know I've got it fairly distributed, I'm going to start by putting the meat in. So we'll put, actually I'd like the bits a bit smaller than that. About that size, I think. So I'm just covering the bottom layer with meat. There we go. Oh, a bit more in there. This is good. Now you could just divide it up perfectly, but I find this works just as well. All right, so we just about got that. So now we got more we can put in. That was quite a good guess. Bit more in there, bit more in there, and the last bit in there. All right, so we've got sort of roughly equal distribution. So just so that you can see, the whole of the bottom is covered in chicken. Jody's letting us know about £2 a pound for chicken at your local Walmart. Okay, so we're using, I would say, wow, that's $2 a pound is pretty good cheap. You're still All right. As long as the prices don't go soaring up, that's a good price. All right. So now that I've got that in, I'm going to put this in over the top of it. And the thing is this, you might want to think about, why did I put the meat in first, right? It's going to be in reverse. But then when I take it out, it's going to be at the bottom. So think about that. All right, so we've got everything in here, all the vegetables, and I'm just going to put 1 scoop in each one. There's the cabbage. A 2nd scoop in there. 2nd scoop in there. Tricky little so-and-so. All leftovers, remember. And I think that's important to remember, that everything I've got in here is the end of the week stuff. Oh, except the peaches. Oh, I was going to keep some for me, wasn't I? Well, that will do. Have I got any meat in there? No meat in there. Oh, we'll borrow some. So now we're just going to let that cool. There we go. And I'm going to put the top on it. Then by the time I go to bed tonight, this will all be beautifully cooled. And another thing I want to tell you why I like these silicone containers. Not only could I have cooked it all in there, but I'm going to freeze it all in there, and it's going to come out a really beautiful, easy to pack into the freezer type 1 cup helping. But here's the thing. I really like these silicone things because they're easy to write on. So what I've got in here is, all right, barbecue, peach, chicken. So now it will go into the freezer like this. And quite honestly, it's a no-brainer. I normally leave it in there for about a day and a half. And then I take it out and put it into a bag and relabel the bag like this. How easy was that? Seriously, how easy was that? It took us less than an hour. And we have got 4 servings of a really tasty and healthy meal. And as far as I know, no complaints about that. Any questions? I'm going to put a little bit more of the chicken in for my dinner. So we'll take 1 strip and put that in. And we will work with that. Oh, we'll mix that all up nicely. And Jody, I really want to tell you that I have noticed that since I've been doing this meal prepping and cooking this way, the amount that I need to eat is different. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to cook some, what did I do with them? Noodles. We know they're here. Anybody see them? They will come to light. I'm not going to worry about it. What did I do with them? Huh. Wonder what I did. Not there, not there, not there, not there. There they are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just before I stop the broadcast, I'm going to put these back in that frying pan with a little bit of water and let that heat up, and then pour what we have left over the top. All right. So the other thing is I probably only need half of the noodles, quite honestly, but just I'll see if there's any left over. I'll keep it to add to lunch one day or something. All right. So that's all ready to go for my meal with that. And we could put that into here. There we go. That nearly went on the floor. And that will all get heated up together. Now then, that leaves us with our dehydration. I've already got some tomatoes that I've been dehydrating. And very difficult people. So these are tomatoes that they're grape tomatoes, and I thought if I don't do something with them, I'm going to need to use them as seeds or throw them away. So I'm just dehydrating them. Why not? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chicken bits in there as well. Now, what is your fear about dehydrating? Let's, type me up some words around that. Why haven't you done it? Oh, I need that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to make some pretty thin strips, knowing that this is already cooked, all right? The trick when you're dehydrating is try not to have things touching one another. That's a bit of skin that can come off. That's a bit of skin that can come off. All right, and that makes it now, obviously, I could quite happily just eat these tonight as they are, but we're on an experiment here. That's what we do. We experiment with food. So, and we know it's already marinated. Just remember that. And all that dehydration is doing is taking the moisture out of it, all right? So how long will it take to dehydrate? It depends. How well cooked is it to start with? It depends on what temperature are you doing it at, how much airflow is there. So what you want it to do is to be free of moisture, but not tough. All right, good night, Jeannie. So that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to put it in my toaster oven, just like that. And let it quietly, I'm going to put it on the lowest setting, which is 150 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to let that cook for an hour. Actually, I'm going to put it on stay on. So I'm going to leave it there until I go to bed. Izzy is saying, I like fresh, so I never thought about dehydrating meat. I love sun-dried tomatoes. This won't hesitate. Okay, so you understand, you don't have to wait for summer to dehydrate tomatoes. I already have some. By the way, I've dehydrated carrots. I've dehydrated peppers. All right, I'm doing quite a lot of stuff now, just out of interest. And I will use them up in things like stews and mushrooms. I don't buy fresh mushrooms anymore. I just buy dehydrated. And I can now start making them because the price of dehydrated mushrooms is actually quite expensive. So what I will do is buy a couple of portobello mushrooms and dehydrate them. And quite honestly, a little packet like this of mushrooms lasts me a year. All right. But I don't use it very often. But when I go, I'd like some mushroom in there, I've always got it. And all I do is I drop it in some water and it reconstitutes. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's not that I put it in dry necessarily, although you can. I just will drop it in some sauce or just some water and let it reconstitute. And there we go. Mushrooms. I'm definitely running low. So this is peppers. I've got, very little pepper. Izzy? Tomatoes. What does it taste like that? It's like a leather. Right? So in itself, it's a snack. Actually, that's a really good idea. I'm going to mix this in with my, what do you call it? Snack food. A couple of tomatoes in there, make it healthier. Oh, more tomatoes. Now, another thing, for those of you who are into smoothies, I also grind it up. All right, I will take some of those dehydrated things and grind them all up and put them in my smoothies. And that's called vegetable powder. We're always looking at ways to save money. I don't know how much you pay for vegetable powder for your smoothies, but think again. All right. So pretty easy. And now we're just about done. Jody's saying dehydrating concentrates the sugar. That's what I thought in the tomatoes, so they taste even better. I want to tell you, that one that I just took, that half a grape tomato, tasted like candy almost. In fact, when I tasted it, I thought, I don't know if you saw my facial expression change. I thought, I wonder if I put any sugar on there. And I thought, no, I would not have put sugar on there. But I agree with you, Jody, they're sweeter. So be careful when you are eating dehydrated fruit. By the way, you can dehydrate fruit as well. You know, if you've got fruit that you don't want to throw out, but you want to preserve, consider dehydrating it. And do you expect to get it right the first time? I hope not. I hope you'll, like me, experiment. And the way to check is, when you've got that, when I think it is perfectly dehydrated, I still keep it dehydrating for another couple of days. And then I will put some of those, what do you call it? Silica bags in to make doubly sure. I'll throw a couple of these in for a while. And then I will seal it in a sealed bottle. And then after about a month, I'll check it to make sure that nothing went bad in there. Use mason jars because the seal's good, all right? And that's why I have a lot of little mason jars, like this sort of size, because they're ideal for putting dehydrated stuff in. If you think about it, if you think about it, how many grape tomatoes are in here? I would say, I'm just going to look at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, about 20. So that's 10 on the top. 10, 20, 30, at least 40 tomatoes in there. And it takes up this much space. And can you imagine that with a little bit of maybe some chow mein noodles and some nuts and things? Would I be able to make a really nice trail mix for myself? And that would taste sweet. I'm doing it. Any questions before I cook dinner? Now, you will notice that I completely multitasked here, all right? I have done dessert for, not tonight, because it'll take tonight for that dessert to freeze, but I've already got some in the freezer. I've already got dessert. I've got stuff dehydrating that will carry on dehydrating probably over the weekend. The tomatoes probably will be ready by tomorrow. Then maybe not, I'll see. But quite honestly, that's a lot of meal prep. And I have got 4 meals into the freezer, completely, good quality, in as much as hasn't got too much meat in it. It's got a lot of vegetable. It's got a really tasty sauce to it. And, yes, it's barbecue sauce, so it's got sweetness in it, and I'm diabetic, but, not much. If you think about it, not much. And, if I find when I take it out that there's not enough sauce, I would just quickly make a little bit more of something else, maybe add a bit more of the barbecue sauce and make another, bit more with cornstarch or something, and just add it on. Maybe throw a couple of pineapple pieces on there as well. So really easy. Jody, I have got peaches frozen, but could I have dehydrated peaches? Again, think about that this summer. When you go to the farm store and you can buy a flat and you're going, yeah, but I'll never, ever use that many. Think about learning how to do it. So by the time you get there, you will be able to dehydrate them. How many of you have had that cereal where it's got strawberries in it? And, really, they're just dehydrated strawberries. And so, can you imagine a couple of strawberries in a sauce that you're making? Or maybe a couple of slices of dehydrated strawberry in your salad? Good use of food. The thing I like about freezing and dehydrating is I'm not throwing food away. Yes, Jody's saying get them at the peak of their freshness and preserve that quality. Absolutely. So all the time I'm looking at how can I do this better. Now, you know that I've been playing around with this stuff, for over a year now, but I feel I've got this meal prepping in bulk down. And the interesting thing is, what amazes me is that now I find that 1 cup is enough. Yes, Jody's saying, I've eaten that cereal and it's absolutely delicious. Just a few strawberries makes a great difference. Think about this, those dehydrated tomatoes? What about some of those in your popcorn? Or some dehydrated strawberries in your popcorn? That would make it tasty. Yum. Was any of this difficult? Cranberries. Now, I want to tell you something that I will say. I buy cranberries in bulk, serious bulk. I buy them by almost a kilogram, a couple of pounds at a time, because I want to eat them. All right. And you'll be amazed buying, Jody, maybe could you check for us, honey? Could you check in Canada how much a pound or half a kilo for dried cranberries? Quite honestly, I find the price of dried cranberries has come down so much it's worth buying it in the store. What I do is I keep them in my larder, in my pantry, and then I have a small container with them in, all right? And quite honestly, every now and then, I probably haven't done that for a week. But it's I found that the price was such that it was worth buying, a couple of pounds of it at a time. And I bought them, yes, $7 for 28 ounces. Is that bulk? Find out what it is in bulk. You'll be surprised at the bulk price. I literally have to tell you, whenever you can, buy it in bulk, because you will be amazed at what you save. And just store it properly. Yeah. All right. So let's see what we're going to do here. I'm going to put my skillet back on and put some water in there. That was too much water. I don't want that much water. Okay. And then I'm going to now you notice I got peaches on the side. You know why? All right. So is this? Jody's saying, yeah, that was for craisins. Yep. Think about, if you can, Jody, check what the bulk price is. And can you check what the bulk price is in a store near you that isn't, that's just a regular Walmart type store or something? Right. How's that? Right? Half the price for a pound. Are you shocked, Jody? You can either buy 28 ounces for $7 or spend $4.29 to buy it in bulk. That's why I buy mine in bulk. And what I do is I wait until it goes on sale. And it does every now and then. And then I will buy a couple of kilos. Not kilos, a kilo. Or half a kilo. Now, I had a feeling that the price in bulk was absolutely ridiculous by comparison. So because you're not paying for all the packaging, you're just getting the fruit. And so when I buy raisins, I do the same thing, all right? And then I just put them in this little container. The big bag stays in my pantry. And I've got enough for a year. It's dried fruit. How long does dried fruit last? Okay. And if no fancy packaging, that's the whole thing. You're not paying for the packaging. So wherever you can, do that, all right? Have a look at the price of rolled oats, in the box, well-known box from the Quaker people, or if you buy it in bulk, it's amazing the difference in price. So if you're not bulk buying, have a look at it. If you're trying to save money, right? If you've got more money than you know what to do with, then go right ahead and do it any way you like. Yep, Jody's saying, like the price between the pre-packaged cream of wheat versus the bulk box. It is half the cost. Point taken. Okay. If I wanted this to be even more healthy, what could I do? I could have a salad on the side. I'm not going to. Friday is my fun night. But I could maybe even start with a salad and make it more healthy. But, every night now, I make sure that I have 1 cup of food, and then I allow myself dessert. You see, in the old days, I would have had 2 cups of food and considered that a portion. I don't do that anymore. I go, you can have 1 cup if you want dessert. If you don't want dessert, you can have 2 cups. Do you understand the trade-off that I have? And what I've also found is little things. Jody? Jody sent me something, and it was about adding yogurt to your bread dough. And I now make my daily pita bread, all right, from dough with yogurt in it as well. And all I do is I just cut it, and I load it up with lettuce and some cheese, some cucumber and whatever, and that is my lunch. And that is whole wheat. I've got rye flour, whole wheat flour, white flour. I've also got chia seeds, flax, and oats are all in there. So how healthy, if you're going to have carbs, how healthy are those carbs, all right? And when you cut it, so if I can cut it without breaking it. I always look at which side do I want to. There we go. You can probably, I wonder if you can see through it. Can you see how thin that is? All right. But you imagine that stuffed with lettuce and cheese and cucumber, and peppers, I look forward. And one of these fills is perfect for me. Well, I made up my own recipe. You know me. What I do is once every now and then. Hang on a sec. All right, so just so that you know, I will load up my this up with all the different flours, not flowers from the garden, right? So a little bit of white flour, some rye flour, some whole wheat flour, some, and then I add the seeds in it and everything else. And then I put some oat, you can use oat milk in it, or you can use milk or cream. I throw in a little bit of yeast, but quite honestly, I've sort of got my sourdough mix that I throw in there. But and then I just blend it up. And if it's too loose, I add some oats to it, and then some more oats until it just forms its own ball and there's nothing sticking to the outside. Then what I do is I turn it into probably 2 or 3 of these, and they go into the deep freeze. And then once a week or once every few days, I will take that one out, let it thaw, and then I make my little pita bread. All right. And when I call it, thank you for my daily bread. And if you look at it, it's portion control. I'm not going back for a second one because I don't have a second one unless I let it thaw and cook it. And, I'm not going for a second one, just the one. That's what I'm allowed. But as you can probably imagine, I really look forward to it. All right. So, and don't they look cute? So, Jody, I want to thank you for telling me about adding some yogurt to the bread dough because it really lightens them up, and it's been really great. Yep, they stay round like that, and they puff right up. And by the way, I don't cook them on a high heat. I cook them on about 300. About 15 minutes on one side, turn it over, another 10 or 15 on the other side, and it's done. Very simple. Oh, put that back in the freezer. Be right back. And probably wondering how much yogurt do I put in? I would think about half a cup to a cup, somewhere in there. Before I put any other liquids in, I put the yogurt in. So let that all get absorbed, and then I add other liquids if it needs it. Okay. Oh, forgot to put that in. That needs to go back in the freezer. And now we're going to make dinner. So what I did is I put a little bit of water in the skillet and just warmed up the noodles. Okay. They look good, don't they? And then put those in the bowl. I'm just going to warm up the stuff that was left over. I'm so looking forward to this. What about you guys? What else do I need? I need a little bit of garnish. I need some of that. Good. And to be honest, I don't normally warm things up in plastic. So here we go. I'm going to put that over the top. And then you can see it. Okay, that's good. I'm going to put some peaches around it. Take some chives. That hit the floor. And one thing I found out, I don't know about you guys, but I buy a whole head of celery. I used to buy just 4 stalks at a time because that's roughly what I would use in a week. I found out that buying a whole stalk of it like this, a whole bunch of it, and keeping it in the plastic, it lasts me for 3 weeks without going bad. Okay, now the reason I'm here is I want some garnish. All right. And what I like about keeping the celery like that is you're going to keep coming across little bits of garnish that all, each time you cut down a little bit more, you'll get to a new group of garnish. So I like that. And I'm going to put a couple more bits there. I'm going to get some black pepper. And there we have. Does that look like a tasty meal or what? So this is DearMamaSal saying, remember, I had some barbecue sauce that I needed to use. Time to use it. So then I thought, what can I do with barbecue sauce? Oh, I've got some chicken in the freezer. So I'll get some chicken out. What else can I put with it? I've got some frozen peaches. I bet that tastes good. And then use leftover vegetables. And I have created very tasty meal. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here. I hope I gave you some ideas and some tips that will be of use to you. You know where I'm going. I'm going to go and eat my dinner. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here and bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody. And dessert.